Good morning, everybody. This is a spiritual whistleblower here. Good morning. Good morning. What is today? Today is Wednesday, October 21st. First and foremost, be sure to join me tonight. This is Whistleblower Wednesdays. So tonight here on YouTube Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am back. I'm back from my vacation. And I'm rested and rejuvenated, so I'm ready to get back to the business of helping you guys. I have a lot of content to cover this evening, questions, things that I need to discuss, address, bring to your attention. People asking for advice. So please, again, tune in tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Whistleblower Wednesdays. Great. Again, if you need coaching, I have just readjusted my prices to make them more affordable. I do phone coaching consults in 15-minute increments, 30-minute increments, and hourly increments. I also do Zoom meetings, international. I have clients in Canada, London, England, Europe, Africa, Jamaica, around the world. So, to my international fan base, you're more than welcome to set up a consult with me. All you got to do is email me, ChanelJasmin at Gmail, ChanelJasmin at gmail.com. And for those that are really struggling financially, I do have Whistleblower Wednesdays. You can submit a question for $5 and I will answer it on my live anonymously. But you got to get your question in by Tuesday of that week. Okay? If you want me to read your question and give you some advice. And then it's not just me. You also get advice from the community in the live chat too. So it's pretty awesome and therapeutic when everyone chips in and gives you some personal advice or their opinion or what have you. All right, good. So let's bounce into today's topic. I want to talk about relocating, moving far away from the narcissist, and why sometimes that's the only option you have. First and foremost, narcissistic abuse, even though the lawmakers do not want to recognize it, it is domestic violence, period, point blank. Okay, matter of fact, people associate domestic violence, and this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. People associate domestic violence with just physical abuse. And on the contrary, it's not. Domestic violence is psychological abuse, it's emotional abuse, it's financial abuse. We all know the narcissist abuses our finances. They're very controlling. They're cheap with their money, but they want to control our money. They destroy credit scores. I've heard all types of horror stories from them, dipping out and leaving their spouses with the mortgage while they're off in their new relationships. So, the ex-spouse is stuck with the debt and, stuck in foreclosure. I've heard stories where the narc has been in a lease, an apartment lease, and they have abandoned their responsibilities and left their partner, to get evicted from the apartment. I've heard stories of car loans. Y'all need to stop co-signing on these goddamn car loans and everything else, because an irresponsible motherfucker will leave you in debt. And that's exactly what the narc does. Or I've heard stories where the narc will, take money from their current spouse to go, on dates with the side supply, the new supply. The people they cheating on you with, they need money. They need money to gamble. They need money for their addictions. They need money to go to the strip club. All these things they're doing behind their spouses and partners' backs. They are very financially abusive. And financial abuse, yes, is a matter of fact, domestic violence. Because psychologically, it does something when your finances are fucking depleted, it cripples you. Or, they'll call your boss when you're trying to move on. They'll call your job and try to get you fired. And if you get fired, guess what? You have no income. So narcs are very, very financially abusive. Okay, let's get that out the way. Financial abuse is domestic violence, sexual abuse, sexual assault. Many of us are in relationships where we have had non-consensual sex. Yes, you can be in a relationship and your partner force herself on you. Okay, I've had it where I got beat up. I was assaulted. And then after he got done assaulting me, he made me take a shower and forced himself on me. That's domestic violence, sexual assault. There's different, things that lawmakers will not recognize as domestic violence. But narc abuse from beginning to end. Matter of fact, anytime someone emotionally gaslights you and puts you in a position where you want to commit suicide, or you're in a position where you want to have a nervous breakdown and you have to be checked into a hospital, that, to me, that's worse than physical abuse, because that your mind, your mental, your spirit, everything is broken in half and you don't have nothing to live for. So again, we need to get out here and start pushing this stuff on the lawmakers. Emotional abuse should be recognized legally as domestic violence, and there should be charges brought up against an abuser. Whew, Jesus. When you are trying to escape an abuser, one of the things where, when I'm coaching clients, they mess up and tell family members, they tell friends, they tell people about their plans to escape their abuser. You got to keep your mouth shut. Let me say it again. You got to keep your plans to escape your abuser to yourself. You don't tell your mammy, your pappy, you don't tell your mutual friends. You got to move in silence when you're dealing with a narcissist. Because once a narcissist finds out that you have plans to escape, he or she is going to do everything in their power to sabotage those plans. Stop telling people your business. Keep your mouth shut. Move in silence. That's the only way you can execute an exit strategy to escape an abuser. I know it's harder. It's easier said than done. It's very hard when your finances are minimal. But what you must do is pull out a notebook and start jotting down long-term plans to escape. The narcissist is not always going to be at home with you. The narc has to go chase and seek out new supply in the streets. The narcissist has a job. If he or she is employed, they got to go to work. You got to plan things when the narcissist is out of the home, away from you. You got to escape when you know the narcissist is not going to be at home. The narc might be at work. The narc might be at the gym, whatever. You got to plot very strategically. Because once the narc realizes that you have escaped, he's going to be on your tail like white on rice, baby. You better believe it. He's going to get in touch with your family, your friends. He's going to call police. He's going to put out an APB, and he's going to hunt you down. And this is why I have stressed to many of you, you may consider moving to another city and state to get far the fuck away from the narcissist. And this is for many reasons. Number one, if you live in close proximity to your narcissist in the same city, he is in a power position. He or she is in this powerful position. They have leverage against you because they're using their inner circle of family and friends, their co-workers, to destroy your reputation in that city and town. That's where they have their power. After the breakup with the smear campaign, they're going to pull everybody together. It could be people you went to high school with. It could be people from your past. It could be your own toxic family members. They're going to turn everybody against you in your own city and state, in your town. They want you to feel completely isolated from the world. They want to beat you in the head, beat you down to nothing, where you have no hope and you have nowhere to go but to hide underneath a rock. Get the fuck out of that city and state. Get away from those people. Get away. Because that's where the narc can get you. That's where the narc calls the police and files fake police reports. The narc can tell his people anything. You're stalking him. You're this, you're that. Yeah, because you live within the close proximity. You live in the same city as the motherfucking narc. Consider packing your shit up and moving out of the state. Now, I know this is easier said than done. For those of you that have kids and you co-parent with the narc, you got to be careful. So I would encourage you, if you have children with the narc, go seek out legal assistance first and foremost. Call legal aid. Legal aid is a free service if you don't have money for a lawyer, because you don't want the narc filing against you for parental kidnapping or parental alienation. You got to move very carefully when you have children. If you don't want to leave the state, move to another county on the other side of the fucking state. Move 3 hours away, 4 hours away, but stay within the same state. That way the narc can't say you kidnapped his child. You're still within the state. But you better move very smart. You better go seek out legal help. Another thing, too, that I always tell survivors, if you don't have money to move into a homeless shelter. Move into a domestic violence shelter. And I'll tell you why. Because once you move into that shelter, your family don't know where you're at. And if your family's toxic, they don't need to fucking know where you're at. They don't need to know your phone number or your whereabouts. You need to go hide somewhere where you're protected, you're cared for, and you feel safe, especially if you have children. A women's shelter, a men's shelter, a domestic violence shelter will protect you. And not only will they protect you, they will help build you up if you're starting out with nothing. They will help you to get a job. They will, if your credit's tore up, they have resources. And I've stayed in multiple women's shelters, so I'm speaking from experience when I tell you. A lot of times when you go into a shelter, the narc has destroyed your credit and your finances. And the homeless shelter, they're fully aware of this. So they have resources and connections to people that will work with you when your credit is bad. They have resources with people that'll help you get an apartment despite your credit situation. And there's shelters that will even go as far as paying your first month's security and paying up 3 to 6 months of your first month's rent to help you get on your feet. They'll give you free furniture. They'll give you cooking pots, pans, dishes, and all that. They will help you get on your feet when you're starting from zero. But you got to put that fear behind you, and you got to take the leap. So, the narc's going to be pissed when you make that move. You can expect it. But ain't shit going to change until you change. And again, for those of y'all, a lot of y'all live at home with mommy and daddy. You're an adult and you're still living at home with your fucking parents, and your parents are fucking narcs. Guess what? Your parents don't want you to go nowhere. They want to keep controlling you. Get the fuck out of your parents' house. Get the fuck out your parents' house. You know what type of people benefit from living with their parents? Narcissists. Men and women. I know both male and female narcs that live at home. They're in their 40s, still living at home with their parents. You want to know why? Because they're cheap. They don't want to pay no fucking bills. And they need to be codependent off mommy and daddy for more money, for financial help, or whatever they can use mommy and daddy for. And mommy and daddy, being the narcs, want to continue to control. So it works out for both sides. Or if the narcissist doesn't live in the house with mommy and daddy, he or she lives a couple doors down. They live very close so that they can keep tabs on mommy and daddy, keep running to mommy and daddy for money, for help with their bills. And mommy and daddy loves it because they can keep controlling the narc too. If you're in your 40s and 50s, you ain't got no goddamn business. Let me even say 30s. You have no business living at home with your parents. You have no business depending on your parents for shit. You got narcissistic parents and you still running to them for financial help with your bills. Let me tell you something. There's a price to pay when you keep going back to mommy and daddy for financial help. Once they help you, in the back of their minds, they fucking own you. They get to control you. You could be 50 years old and your parents will still treat you like a fucking child. Because they feel that just because they helped you, they own you. That's why my parents to this day, neither one of them, I left the house at 17 years old to go, to college and everything. They can't fuck with me financially. I don't ask my parents for shit. I'd rather live in a cardboard box on the streets before I ask mammy or pappy for a goddamn thing. You have to be 100,000% independent from your narc parent. You have to cut that umbilical cord. Even if it means you got to struggle, stay the fuck up out your parents' house. Get up out their house. Because the goal for them is to keep you there until they're old and crippled. They don't want you to have a life. Your life belongs to them. Your job is to take care of them into their old age. And baby, that's not why God brought you into this world. That's not your purpose in life. You better understand, go find your purpose. Your purpose ain't about taking care of mommy and daddy well into their old age. If they're toxic and they're narcissistic, they're going to want to control you until the day they die. They still control their children from the grave when they write their wills out. They write their wills specifically so that their children are still fighting long after they've died. They'll give one child some money out the will and they'll leave the other kids out the will. They do vicious stuff. They write their wills in a specific manner so that their children are bickering and fighting long after they have passed away. So that narcissistic parent is still controlling their children from the motherfucking grave. Y'all better smarten up. You live at home with mommy and daddy, and you suspect they're narcissistic. They're controlling you. They're not emotionally supportive. They even side with your abuser. You're in a relationship with someone that's making your life a living hell, and your parents know about it, and they seem nonchalant about it, or they seem to side with your abuser. Get the fuck up out your parents' house. You are jumping from one frying pan to the other. You're in a relationship with a narc and you're living at home with a narc. So they playing cat and mouse with you. You're in a deadly love triangle between your parents and the person you're dating. You need to abandon, jump ship, and leave everybody behind. If you can do it, move to another city and state, change your phone number. You can't do it, move into a shelter, stay discreet, hide, get off that radar. You got to get off the narcissist radar. You got to take your power back. I say this, moving far away from the narcissist, it takes away their leverage to call you a stalker, to call you crazy, to call you miserable. Because when you move far away, all they have left is to cyber stalk your social media. And that's another thing. You can deactivate your Facebook and disappear, and they can't find you. Get your life together, pop back up, get back on social media, and then they look up and they see you done bounce back. You got your own beautiful new apartment, new home, new car, new job. You're thriving. Your skin is glowing. And they can't even sit up and lie and tell people you stalking and you bothering this and that. Why? Because you live in a whole nother city and state. How the fuck am I stalking you, you bird ass nigga, when I done moved far away? What you gonna tell your people now, stupid? Now I got a job making 6 figures. Can't call me broke no more. You can't lie on my good name no more. You can't control me no more. I live far away. I done took my power back. When you move far away, you get leverage over the narc. There's very little they can do when they can't reach you. And if you co-parenting and you move far away, they lazy. They're not going to want to put in the energy to travel to come see their children. Remember now, the narc has children as a way to lock down their victims. They don't love their children. They just use the child to keep coming back into your life to control you and keep tabs on you, to take money and sex, whatever else. So what happens when you take your children and you move far, 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 far away? Then you put the narc in a position where he or she has to put in the physical energy to get off their ass, spend their money, their finances, their time. They got to put in actual effort to come see their children. And they're not going to want to do that. It's too much work. So most of the times they will discard their children. I only encourage you taking your children and moving out of the state, moving far away once you seek legal counsel. Seek things out legally so you don't get in trouble for parental kidnapping or parental alienation, because a narc will use that against you. You guys, I want you to move smart, but you got to understand, ain't nothing going to change until you push that fear to the side and take that leap and get the fuck away. Keep people out your business. Move strategically, move wisely, move underneath the radar, stay underneath the radar until you get your finances, your life together, and then you spring back up, because that narc is going to be checking for you. They're always stalking. They're always lurking your social media. Get yourself together so when you bounce back, he or she can't even fucking get to you. They can't reach you. And then, you know, they still smearing you a year, 2 years, then pass, and you got your life back together. They still gossiping negatively about you, and they look like a fucking fool. Because when people look up and they see that you done got yourself together and you're looking good, feeling great, you're traveling the world, your money is stacking, now the narcissist looks like a fucking hater. The narc will look like a hater for throwing dirt on your name because you bounce back. Bitch, I don't live nowhere near you. How's I'm stalking you, fool? Quit telling your family and friends I'm stalking, bitch, when I live thousands of miles away, motherfucker. I don't want you. You're trash, and all your hoes can eat my trash. Huh? What you got now? Now I'm making more money now that I done got away from you. What you gonna tell people now? We ain't got no kids and I ain't married to your ass. What you gonna tell people now? Oh, she doing better now that she done got the fuck away from me. That's what you better tell people. I'm popping now that I done got the fuck away from you. Y'all get away from the narc. I encourage you to relocate. It's not easy. It's going to be a struggle, but it is well worth it. And when you're finally on the other side, you're going to say to yourself, damn, I should have did this a long time ago. Listen, y'all have a blessed day. Join me tonight for Whistleblower Wednesday, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube Live. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see y'all later. Have a blessed day.